Hello. Okay. So we have a few minutes before we get started. Just wanted to welcome everyone to the 45-minute yoga class. Today's focus on the class will be balancing postures. So we'll kind of ease into a few transitions and practice getting in and out of balancing postures very slowly, and then mixing that into our vinyasa flow. The class will be 45 minutes in length, if I didn't mention that before. And you don't really need any equipment for today's class, so just yourself. And if you have a yoga mat to practice on, that's great. If not, just a comfortable surface that you can practice on is good as well. Before you get started, just take a quick look around, make sure that you don't have any hazards that you can bump into, make sure that your space is clear and safe for you to practice in. And throughout class, always remember to take breaks, go at your own pace. If at any point throughout class you experience any type of faintness, dizziness, shortness of breath, you know your body best, so please stop exercising. I'm gonna make my way to my mat so that we can get started. And we're gonna start in a laying down position. So in our laying down position, if you have any sensitivities to the hamstrings or the back of the thighs, you can allow the knees to remain bent, soles of the feet rooted onto the floor. Or if it feels comfortable for you, you can have the legs nice and long down towards the earth. You're just going to bring the palms down to either side of the body. Take a deep inhale and exhale through the nose. You just kind of settle in towards the earth. So just begin to notice in your mind's eye the parts along the back body that rest towards the earth. Begin to notice the back of the head, the shoulder blades. Notice where the hips are in space, the thighs, and all the way to the tips of the toes. And continue to breathe in and out through the nose here. Maybe noticing how the breath moves through the body, just beginning to settle in and kind of zone in and tune in towards your body for the next 45 minutes of class. So noticing your breath, bringing it into a conscious movement here, just allowing it to move freely in and out through the nose. Take another full cycle of breath here. And then when you're ready, you're going to take a nice deep inhale, lift the arms overhead, fingertips reach towards the back wall. Like you're taking a nice big morning stretch. Point the toes here, feel the stretch along both sides of the body, maybe even the thighs. Another full cycle of breath, and at your own personal exhale, you're going to slowly draw the knees in towards the body, hugging the thighs in towards the chest. So just give yourself a nice little hug. Rock from side to side, massaging the low back. And then if you'd like, you can begin to rock forward and back until you make your way into a seated position. Or if there's any sensitivities to the spine, feel free to roll over to one side and press yourself up. Once you make your way up into a seated position, we're going to come into a tabletop position. So we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Just going to bring a couple movements into the spine and just do a few rounds of cat-cow. So you can curl the back of the toes here or leave the tops of the feet flat against your mat or the earth. Find balance there. And then when you're ready, begin to tilt the tailbone up towards the sky as the belly draws down. Maybe look forward and up here. Full inhale through the nose. Press the 10 fingertips of the palms and then slowly begin to draw the chin in towards the chest. Arc the spine like a rainbow up towards the sky, and the pelvis will tilt slightly forward here. Hold here. Full cycle of breath. At your own personal inhale, begin to uncurl, unwind. Maybe moving one vertebrae at a time, untucking the chin, and then allowing your gaze to look forward or slightly up. 2 more rounds here. Full inhale, pressing through the palms and the tops of the feet or the toes. And then as you exhale, drawing the chin in towards the chest, Arcing the spine up towards the sky, feeling the expansion that you're creating in between the shoulder blades along the back body here. Full cycle of breath, and then at your own personal exhale, begin to uncurl, unwind, maybe starting from the low back, working your way up through your thoracic or mid spine, all the way up through shoulders, and then uncurling the chin. Final round here in your full inhale, and then as you exhale, you're gonna arc the spine one final time in your cat pose, holding there for a full cycle of breath. And then when you're ready, you're gonna curl the back of the toes if they're not already curled, lift through the knees and find downward facing dog. So this might be your first downward facing dog of the day, so feel free to pedal at the feet. Shake the head yes, shake the head no, just see how the body feels. Take another full cycle of breath here, continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. And then when you're ready, as you exhale, you're gonna look back towards your feet and then walk both hands back towards both feet. Come into a forward fold. Allow the head to hang heavy here. You're releasing all the muscles on the low back, so feel free to bend the knees if you need to. The torso can rest on the thighs. So just coming into a ragdoll pose, so grabbing onto opposite elbows. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose, still moving slowly here. On your next inhale, you're going to inhale all the way up to standing, uncurling the spine, and then slowly making your way up, head coming up last. You're going to come into equal standing posture, so Samastitihi, finding a nice balance on all four edges of both feet. Arms to either side of the body, fingertips rooting down. So feel an expansion across the front of the chest here. And when you're ready, inhale, lift both arms up. As you exhale, we're gonna come into that forward fold again. So hinging from the hips, head hangs heavy, you fold forward. Maybe the hands can come to rest on either side of the feet. Maybe you grab onto opposite elbows here again. So we're doing a few rounds of forward folds here just to loosen up the spine and the low back. When you're ready on your next inhale, you're gonna inhale slowly, coming all the way up to standing. Maybe the arms come up this time, maybe you look up, and then exhale, hands to either side. We're gonna do two more. Let's inhale, float the arms up. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, fold. So draping the torso over the thighs, head hangs heavy here. Feel free to shake the legs out if you'd like, so lengthening one and then the other. Full cycle of breath here. On your next inhale, you're gonna rise up towards the sky, inhaling all the way up. Maybe you look up and arms come up. Exhale, hands to either side. We're gonna do one more. We're gonna inhale, float the fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold forward. Coming into your forward fold, head hangs heavy, back of the neck nice and long here. And then at your own pace on the next inhale, rise all the way up, arms come up. Exhale, hands to either side. Awesome, we're gonna come into chair pose, so bringing a little bit more heat into the lower limbs. So coming into a nice hip distance with the feet, you're gonna begin to sit back as if you're sitting into an imaginary chair here. Draw the abdomen in and then inhale, float the arms parallel to the earth. This feels comfortable for the arms. You can play around and maybe float them up slightly higher. See how that feels for the shoulders and the front of the chest. I like to bring the hands to heart center here. Thumbs pressing against the chest. We're going to take another full inhale here, maybe feeling heat in the thighs. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, fold forward, release the legs. We're going to inhale, belly rises halfway up, hands press against the shins, crown of the head reaches forward. As you exhale, fold forward and then walk both hands out so you come into a plank position. In your plank position here, take a full inhale. As you exhale, you're going to slowly bring the knees down, come into a tabletop. In your tabletop position, you're going to take a deep inhale, extend that right leg back. So notice if that right hip lifts higher than the left, draw it down so that they're both in line with each other. Flex that right foot as if you're trying to hit the back wall behind you with the sole of your foot. Take a full inhale here, press through the right hand, and if you're ready, as you exhale, the left hand floats out in front. So you're stretching to opposite sides of the body, left arm reaching forward, right leg reaching back. Full inhale here, draw the abdomen in. As you exhale, elbow and knee are going to come in towards the center to touch. Hold there. We're going to inhale, extend back. We're going to do 3 more. Exhale, elbow and knee touch, shin tucks in. Inhale, extending out. Exhale, drawing it into hold. Final round. Inhale, extend out, right foot flex, left fingertips reaching forward. Exhale, slowly coming back down into your tabletop. Take a full inhale in your tabletop. And then as you exhale, knees, belly, chest, and chin are all going to come down to the earth. So front side body onto your mat or the earth beneath you. Hands underneath the shoulders, tops of the feet rooted. Inhale, lift the upper chest up, shining the heart forward through baby cobra. As you exhale, you can press yourself up or rock through table and come into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, take a full cycle of breath in and out through the nose. On your next inhale, you're going to float that right leg up towards the sky. Point the toes. Full inhale here. As you exhale, float that right foot forward in between both palms. Descend through the left knee here, so you're coming into a low lunge. And then inhale, float the arms up. Maybe your gaze looks up towards the fingertips as the palms face each other. Hold here for a full cycle of breath. As you exhale, you're going to bring the hands to the hips. So begin to notice where both feet are, where your foundations are in space. If it's available to you and you feel comfortable, maybe you can begin to float off of that left knee, coming into a high lunge. If not, you can use the hands to facilitate the lift in the back leg. So you're coming into a runner's lunge pose here. Inhale, float the arms up. As you exhale, you're going to bring the arms back as if you're getting ready into that runner's pose. Arms reach back, heart shines forward. Inhale, float the arms up. As you exhale, bring the hands to the hips, look down towards your foundations, and root both heels down. From here, you're going to inhale, arms up, find warrior 1. Exhale, open up, find warrior 2. So opening up through that back leg, the outer edge of the back of the left foot is in line with the back wall behind you, or the short end of your mat. Arms reach out to either side of the room, find a steady gaze. Full inhale here. Full exhale. 1 more breath. As you exhale, you're going to windmill the arms around, framing that right foot. Step the right foot back to plank. In plank, take a deep inhale here. As you exhale, slowly bring the knees down, come back into table. We're going to do that balancing act in our tabletop position, but this time we're going to inhale, lift the left leg back and up. So flex that left foot, draw the hips in line with one another. Take a full inhale here as the abdomen draws in. And then as you exhale, maybe that right arm reaches forward. Fingertips face the wall in front of you, lengthening from opposite sides of the body. Full inhale. As you exhale, elbow and knee come in towards the center to touch, belly drawn in. Hold here. 3 more. Inhale to extend out. Exhale, elbow and knee come in. Hold. 2 more. Inhale, extending out, left foot flex. Exhale, elbow and knee touch. Last one. Inhale, lengthening through the left leg, right fingertips. And then slowly come back to your tabletop. Full inhale and table, and then as you exhale, belly, chest, and chin, come down. Inhale, heart shines forward through baby cobra. Exhale, meeting in downward facing dog. Awesome. So we're going to come into that low lunge, high lunge sequence, this time on the left side. Let's take a full inhale, exhale through the nose. When you're ready, left leg is going to reach up towards the sky. Point the toes so that you feel that charge to the front of the left thigh. As you exhale, left foot will float forward in between both palms. Descending that right knee right away, coming into that low lunge. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, from here you can bring the hands to the hips if you'd like. If you're ready, looking down at your foundations and you feel like you find a nice balance, you can float that right knee up. You can always use the hands to help yourself up into that runner's lunge. When you're ready, float the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, arms reach back, heart shines forward. One more time. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, arms reach back. You can bring the hands to the hips. Look down through your foundations, root both heels down. Find warrior one on the left side as you float the arms up. Full cycle of breath here, breathing in and out through the nose. When you're ready, opening up through the left side, one warrior two. So rooting down through the outer edge of that back right foot. The front leg, you can find as much depth as you'd like, or you feel comfortable with. Knee is stacking over the ankle, arms to either side, finding a steady gaze. One more cycle of breath here. As you exhale, windmill the arms around, step the left foot back, coming back into that plank position. Full inhale through the nose. As you exhale, descending your way. Finding baby cobra or upward dog. Meeting in downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, we'll hold here for 2 breaths. So breathing in and out through the nose. One more breath. As you exhale, look forward and between the palms this time. Walk, jump, or float both feet forward. Inhale, hands to the shins, belly rises halfway up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up to standing, arms come up. And then exhale, hands to either side. Finding Samasthiti for equal standing posture. Awesome. So now that we're a little bit warmed up, we're going to start to introduce those balancing postures that we mentioned, or that I mentioned. We're going to come into a little flow of finding warrior 3 and half moon pose. We'll kind of play around with it, omitting the vinyasa flow, and then we'll add in the postures through the flow. So we'll start off by taking a big step back with the right foot, rooting through both heels here, and then just notice where that left foot in front of you is. So you allow the toes to point forward, root down through all 4 edges of the left foot. You can bring the hands to the hips here, and then where your gaze goes is where your body's going to follow. So allow your gaze to look slightly forward past the left toes, almost as if you're looking towards the bottom of the wall in front of you. Keeping the hands at the hips, beginning to position more weight on that left leg, left thigh, you slowly begin to come into that runner's lunge pose. And then ever so slowly positioning even more weight on that left leg, right leg comes back behind you, begins to float up. So you're coming into that warrior 3 pose. You can hinge through the torso and the hips. Maybe if you'd like, the arms come out like airplane wings, or the arms can come back behind you, fingertips reach the back wall. I always like to flex that right foot that's floating behind you so that that right leg is still nice and active. From here, as slow as you went into warrior 3, allow your gaze to look down towards the left toes or slightly in front of the left toes, and hands can begin to fall down towards the earth. You can externally rotate through that right hip, opening up through that right corner of the hip, and then find half moon pose on the right side. So you can keep both hands rooted onto the earth. If not, you can slowly walk that left hand in front of the left toes, flexing that right foot, and then maybe one day floating that right arm up towards the sky. The gaze will follow. Take a full cycle of breath here, rooting down to that left leg. As you exhale, slowly bring both palms down. Begin to rotate that inner right thigh down towards the earth. Bring the right toes down, coming into that high lunge. So inhale, float the arms up. Find warrior 1, and then exhale, hands to the hips. Look down towards the left toes, and then right foot meets the left. Samasthiti, for equal standing posture. Awesome, so we did that all on the right side. We get to do that all over on the left side. So taking a big step back with the left foot, finding a nice stability for your foundations. And then again, I always like to keep my hands at the hips here. They're completely your choice. You can bring the hands out like airplane wings if you'd like from the start, or keeping them at the hips. Positioning more weight onto that right foot, slowly beginning to float that left leg back behind you. Flexing the left foot as if you're trying to high five the wall behind you with the sole of your foot. And then if you'd like, if the arms aren't already in airplane wings, you can put them there. You can bring the hands down, your choice. Sometimes you can even keep the hands at heart center. Notice where the hips are in space. Can you draw that left hip down? And you might lose a little bit of height here, and that's okay. Allow the gaze to look down towards the right toes, and then slowly begin to externally rotate that left hip, finding half moon on the left side. Maybe one day the left arm will float up, bring down through that right foot, flexing the left. So very active in the lower limbs. One more cycle of breath here. Then as slow as you went in, you're going to bring both palms down. Left foot behind you slowly begins to root down. Coming into that high runner's lunge. Inhale, float the arms up. Rooting both heels, find warrior one. Another full cycle of breath here. In and out through the nose. Hands come to the hips, and then slowly left leg meets the right. Give yourself a nice little shake here. Take a full cycle of breath. And then let's do a vinyasa flow. Inhale, float both arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, belly rises to a 90-degree angle. Hands to the shins. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, walk or jump, both feet back into plank. Full inhale here. As you exhale, lowering your weight, either through chaturanga or knees, belly, chest, and chin. Finding upward dog or baby cobra. Meeting in downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, you're going to take a full cycle of breath here. Full inhale. Exhale through the nose. On your next breath, right leg will reach up towards the sky. Point the toes. Full inhale here. As you exhale, right foot floats forward in between the palms. Rooting through both heels. Inhale, rise up through warrior one. As you exhale, open up through warrior two. So in warrior two here, find stability through the feet. Bring both arms out to either side of the room. If you'd like, you can bring the hands to the hips for balance. You can keep the arms out, finding a steady gaze out in front of you. Beginning to notice where your right foot is in space, rooting down into the earth beneath you, positioning more weight into that right foot. You're going to allow the left toes to pivot slightly forward, coming into warrior three. In warrior three, you can choose to stay here, or if you'd like an extra challenge, finding half moon pose in your flow. Full inhale. As you exhale, left foot is going to root down. You're going to find warrior one. As you inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, plant the palms down and cycle through your flow. Meeting in downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, take a full cycle of breath again. Shaking it out, we're going to get to do the same thing on the other side. On your next inhale, float the left leg up towards the sky, point the toes. Full inhale here, pressing through the fingertips. As you exhale, left foot floats forward in between both palms. Inhale here, rising up through warrior one. Exhale, opening up through warrior two. So finding stability through your foundations. Noticing where your feet are in space, it really helps when you come into those balancing postures. And again, you can begin to position the hands at the hips, allowing that outer right foot, or sorry, the toes on the back right foot to slightly pivot forward, kind of getting your lower limbs in position for warrior three. And the hands can rest at the hips or come right into airplane wings. And when you're ready, as slow as you went in when you were practicing, you'll come into warrior 3 through your flow. And again, completely optional, half moon on the left side. Flexing through both feet, both thighs are nice and active here. Full inhale, exhale through the nose. And then again, slowly begin to float that right leg back down towards you, finding warrior 1 as you inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, root the palms down, step the left foot back, find your plank position, holding here for a full cycle of breath. And then as you exhale, lowering your weight. And then this time, instead of meeting in downward facing dog, we'll meet in child's pose. So bringing the knees nice and wide, maybe wide enough to the edges of your mat to allow room for the torso to just straighten between the thighs. The glutes aim towards the heels, and the forehead rests on your mat. Kind of just letting the body soften here, noticing your breath. Maybe noticing how your breath moves along the back ribs and the back body. Just finding softness with every exhale. Slowly beginning to slow down the movements where we hold postures for a little bit longer, which allows you to focus on your breath. Couple more rounds here. Still breathing in and out through the nose. Maybe on your next couple exhales, you make it slightly more active and you allow the glutes to lower closer to the heels with every exhale. Using the arms as leverage to kind of push the glutes back closer to the earth. Only when you're ready, on your next inhale, you're going to slowly rock yourself forward back through table, and then resting your body on one side of the hips, slowly bringing your legs forward. Give your legs a nice little shake here. We're going to continue to work on the hips by removing the balancing postures, but we'll slowly bring the right sole of the foot to the inside of the left thigh, allowing the right knee to open up to the right side of the room. And then inhale, arms parallel to the earth. And then as you exhale, hinge from the hips, allow the torso to drape over that left thigh. So from here, there's a few parts of the body that might bring out sensations. You might notice the lower back or the hamstrings begin to fire out little messages to you. So you're more than welcome to bend the left knee if you'd like. This will soften the muscles along the back of the leg and the low back. And know that over time, you're working towards lengthening that leg, but you can bend the knee to start. You can point and flex the left foot. See how that changes the integrity of the pose and how it feels for the left leg. And then in your next couple exhales, maybe you imagine as if one day your forehead and knee were to touch. Another full cycle of breath here. On your next exhale, you're going to unhinge, unwind. You're going to bring the right knee in towards the midline of the body, kind of zipping it up. Bring the right leg down, and then we'll switch sides. So left sole of the foot to the inside of the right thigh. That left knee opens up to the left side of the room. And then inhale, arms parallel. Exhale, hinging over that right thigh this time. And every time you hinge over, allowing the torso to drape over the thigh, notice where the shoulders are in space. So sometimes one shoulder likes to lift up higher than the other one. So kind of in your mind's eye, draw them more in line with each other so that one isn't hiking up over the other. And then you'll notice that across the back of the shoulder blades. And then as you draw the torso forward, almost as if forehead and knee were to touch, over time, you'll start to feel that expansion across the front of the chest, almost as if heart was trying to reach past the toes. Another full cycle of breath here, breathing in through the nose. And then as you exhale, unhinge, unwind. Lengthen both legs, give them a nice little shake if need to. And then we're going to slowly make our way down towards the earth. So not Shavasana just yet, but we're just going to come into a laying down position. We're going to come into bridge posture next. So we're going to bring the feet a nice distance apart, about hip distance. You can even bring the outer edges of both feet to rest on the outer edges of your mat, your choice. Arms to either side of the body, palms pressing down. And then when you're ready, take a deep inhale, begin to lift the corner edges of the hips up towards the sky. So imagine as if there was a string in the center of the pelvis, kind of drawing the hips up. Use the strength of the foundations of your feet through the thighs to lift up, and then release any tension in the glutes. Take another full cycle of breath here, deep inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly bring the hips back down. And give yourself a well-deserved hug here. Bring the knees in towards the chest, rock from side to side. I'm going to take a quick look at the camera, make sure everything is going smoothly. Continuing to rock from side to side. And then ever so slowly, we're just going to come into a passive inversion, just slowly beginning to bring the legs up toward the sky, toes face up. You can point and flex the feet here. Say hello to your foundations. Twirl the ankles one way, maybe clockwise, and then counterclockwise. If there's a posture that I didn't teach in today's class that you still feel is calling your name, you can go ahead and access that posture now. If not, you can slowly begin to assemble or bring your body into conscious stillness, coming into Shavasana or corpse pose. Just kind of letting gravity draw all the parts of your body that are resting towards the earth. And letting gravity kind of soften the muscles with every breath. Allow your breath to be fluid. And imagining as if with every exhale, your body was releasing everything it no longer needs. Letting the arms soften and the legs release. Almost as if you're beginning to go into a dreamlike state, yet consciously awake. Letting the thoughts kind of just float and dream, and the body feeling more relaxed and at ease with every breath. You can choose to stay here for as long as you'd like in the comfort of your own home. If you'd like to end class with a quick meditation before we go off into the rest of the day, which is completely optional, you're more than welcome to join as well. So just rolling over to your right side if you're choosing to join in. And then pressing yourself up, still keeping the eyes soft here. maybe even closed. And then coming into your comfortable seated position if you're choosing to opt in. You can also completely choose to stay in Shavasana in a laying down position and cue in to the meditation as well if you'd like, or not, just being as you are, honoring what feels best for you and your body. So if you're choosing to come into the seated portion of the meditation, we'll just bring the hands down towards the knees. You can allow the palms to face down for grounding or up towards the sky for a sense of receiving or uplifting. Begin to notice which parts of the body are still resting towards the earth. So notice if the hips are resting down, begin to imagine as if they're plugging into Mother Earth. Feel a sense of expansion across the spine from top to bottom, as if the crown of the head was trying to reach towards the sky. And keeping the eyes closed here, actively drawing that awareness back in, tuning back in and noticing your breath. So noticing every inhale and exhale through the nose. And every time you notice that your thoughts wander, or thoughts are like a monkey mind going from one branch to the next. Every time you actively notice that, just draw your awareness back to your breath. It's almost as if it's a constant game with our mind drifting and us drawing it back. Maybe taking a couple extra loud exhales, breathing out through the nose, almost as if you were sighing it out. And sometimes that can help to continue to draw the awareness back to your breath. We'll bring one hand to the abdomen, just over the belly button, and one hand over the chest and the heart center. And with the palms pressing against the torso and the upper chest, just notice how the breath moves through the body. Notice how as you inhale, perhaps the abdomen presses against one of the palms. Maybe towards the end of your inhale, you feel a slight lift in the heart center towards the hand resting against the chest. And then maybe with every exhale, you notice how the abdomen and chest soften back in towards the center, to the midline of the body. We'll do a couple rounds of a breathing exercise here together. So we'll exhale to prepare in a little bit. And then we'll inhale from a count of 1 through 4. And we'll exhale from a count of 4 to 1. I'll guide you through it all. So when you're ready, we'll exhale here together. We'll inhale deeply through the nose, filling the lungs for a count of 2, 3, 4, filling the lungs, and then exhaling through the nose for 3, emptying the lungs completely for 2, breathing out for 1. One more round. Inhale through the nose for 2, 3, 4. Exhaling completely, emptying the lungs for 3, 2, 1. You can use that tool for as long as you like, always having an internal count as you breathe in and out through the nose. And just notice what happened to the thoughts when you were actively focused on your breath. Acknowledge that you were fully in control of that, and you can access that on or off your mat into the rest of your day. So thank you so much for joining. It's always so much fun to guide you through class, whether it's virtually. Just remember that class runs on Tuesdays at 3:30 and Fridays at 11. It's always awesome if you're able to tune in a couple minutes before we start, just so that we can get a full 45 minutes of class. I'll stick around for a little bit if you have any questions or comments and want to ask in the chat. But aside from that, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay hydrated. Namaste.